Welcome back to the video, and in today's video we have our all-in 2025 results and review after a phenomenal show. It has come to an end, and yeah, a lot of huge surprises and a lot of good moments, but overall, how you feel about the show?
Yeah, I guess the first thing to really talk about with this show is to just talk about the crowd. They were usually, at pretty much every All In, there's been a kind of designated match or spot that the kind of fans in the arena choose to be a slow match for them to kind of calm down after all the hype from the previous matches and the matches that are coming forward. And usually, it comes that match that's just a little bit quieter than what you would think. And this year, there's really pretty much none. I feel like they were behind every single match. There might have been moments where they were a little bit more quiet than you would have liked, maybe. But I feel like they were an amazing crowd the whole night. They were loud when they needed to be loud. And yeah, it was a great show.
Yeah, let's kick things off on the pre-show where we had the Sons of Texas team up with the Von Erichs, where they defeated Shane Taylor Promotions. But it won't be the last time we will see the Sons of Texas. We'll talk about that later on. But then after that, we had Big Boom AJ and the Conglomeration defeat the Don Callis family, and then we had FTR defeat the Outrunners, who again we'll also talk about them later on in the show. So yeah. First off, on the night, we kicked off with the Trios Champions, where the Ops come out victorious and yeah, beat the Death Riders. But unfortunately, Samoa Joe didn't have a great ending to the match.
Yeah, this was a match that I didn't expect to be the opener. I thought they would start off, usually they start off with like a big banger at the start. This wasn't necessarily that. This was a little bit different from the typical AEW scheduling of matches. But yeah, this was a pretty fun match, honestly. Probably one of the weaker ones on the night, unfortunately. However, the ending was pretty good, and it kind of told the story that will be told again later in the match, or later in the night.
Yeah, I did really enjoy this match. I like the fact that Gabe Kidd kind of fits in with this group now. He kind of, at first, felt a little bit awkward because it's like, what is the real connection between Gabe Kidd and the Death Riders? But I feel like now that we've had them for a few weeks with the group, they meshed pretty well. And I think in this match as well, they did fairly well together. I love the moments between Shabbat and Gabe Kidd. Some really nice sequences. But yeah, overall, pretty good match. And then, yeah, as I mentioned, Samoa Joe, after the match, they get attacked and they put a chair around his neck and stomp on it, and we won't see him for the rest of the night, unfortunately. So yeah, rough for Samoa Joe, but this could maybe smell a potential return for a Hook to come back and fill in his role, kind of like how Hobbs did for him. So yeah, could be an interesting development in the Ops, and what is the future of for the Trios Champions. So yeah, pretty good, solid match to start off the night. But next up, we had the Men's Casino Gauntlet, and yeah, and the winner was MJF. Kind of surprising, we'll be honest, but yeah, how'd you feel about this one?
Yeah, didn't really care for the ending necessarily. It was kind of, I guess, abrupt in a way, just kind of ended, and you didn't really expect it to. You thought there'd be like a little bit more action, like a minute or two more, but it kind of ended a little bit abrupt. But it was a very fun match. I still had a lot of fun with it. We see Mark Briscoe, Ricochet, Bandito, Takeshita, Mystico, Josh Alexander, Anthony Bowens, Roderick Strong, Brody King, Juice Alexander, Kota Ibushi, Beast Mortos, and last but not least, the best wrestler alive, Max Caster.
Yeah, seeing the return of Juice Robinson here was really cool. I'm glad that he is back. He definitely has a new look. We also seen the return of the Guns as well. So yeah, I'm glad that Juice is back. I don't know if this is the end of the Bullet Club or Bullet Club Gold. So yeah, hopefully they are still together, because it would be really unfortunate if they're all splitting up with each other. But yeah, overall, pretty fun match. MJF winning, I don't think it's a bad decision. He's somebody who should be in that world title discussion still. So this is an easy way to put him back in there. We've seen him kind of feud with both guys. He was kind of scared of Mox, kind of stayed away from him. He interacted with Hangman a few months ago. So yeah, whether it is Mox or Hangman who walks out, it definitely makes sense that MJF is the next person to go after him whenever he really wants to. But yeah, pretty solid Casino Gauntlet. Did wish we got a few more turns or like some big surprises, but I guess there wasn't really many on the table. But yeah, pretty good way to continue the show. And then next up, we had some unfortunate news about the TNT champion. Originally, it was supposed to be Adam Cole versus Kyle Fletcher one-on-one, but unfortunately Kyle Fletcher came out, or Adam Cole came out and said that he is dealing with some injuries and he will have to take some time off. He looked really emotional. He said he isn't necessarily retiring because he's not in the right headspace to announce that yet, but it definitely didn't seem very positive, and he definitely was very emotional about it. He even said that if this is the last time I see you guys, thank you for everything. So yeah, if this is the end of Adam Cole in pro wrestling, is obviously so sad, because he is truly one of the best wrestlers in the past 20 years. He's one of the best guys of this 2010s and in the early 2020s. So yeah, if Adam Cole, this is the end for him. Obviously a phenomenal career, and I hope the best for him either way. But yeah, so what ended up happening with this match is Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara go into this match, and makes it a fatal four with Danny Garcia also being involved. So Dustin Rhodes, Danny Garcia, Kyle Fletcher, Sammy Guevara, and surprisingly, Kyle Fletcher doesn't walk out with the belt. It is none other than Texas's very own Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah, this is a moment that I don't necessarily mind. I didn't necessarily care for the match a ton, I will say. However, this was just a cool moment for Dustin to kind of get that title and just kind of accept it, because you know that that's something that they've wanted to put on him for quite a while, a title, but it never really worked out in his favor in storyline ways or whatever way it might matter. But yeah, Dustin Rhodes does come out on top. Looks really good, especially for his age. Always has. He's always been a really good wrestler throughout his entire career. So not surprising, but surprising at the same time.
Yeah, him winning, I definitely, like I said, didn't expect it. Thought this was Kyle Fletcher's night, whether it was the one-on with Adam Cole or after it was announced that this was a fatal four-way. I kind of thought it was kind of easily set up for him to win. But like you said, Dustin Rhodes winning, I don't think is the end of the world. It's something that I'm sure won't last very long. And plus, it's something that he's never won. He's never won a singles champion in AEW. So this being his first one is definitely a huge moment. Being in Texas as well, sure helps the moment as well. So yeah, he's very emotional. I wonder if he knew going into the match. I'm sure he knew he was going to win. And then maybe all the emotions hit him after the bell had rang. But yeah, definitely a cool moment for Dustin Rhodes. But kind of a weird situation, because it's such bad news followed by kind of good news with Dustin winning. So definitely an interesting situation, but a pretty solid match as well. And then next up, we had a banger of a match, and it was the Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay teaming up to take on the Young Bucks. And the Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay come out on top, and the EVPs are no longer the Young Bucks. They are back to Matt and Nick Jackson.
Yeah, this was a surprising match. I thought it was going to kind of go one direction, where we get the ref bump and we see weapons get involved. We see the shoes with the spikes on the bottom, or just something would happen during this match. However, they went more of a storytelling route, and I feel like that was the best direction to go, because they still were able to get their big spots off, all the great moves that happened throughout this match, and they were able to tell an amazing story from beginning to end that was kind of cohesive throughout the entire match as well. Yeah, this was an amazing match. Will Ospreay's Will Ospreay. He's just looking amazing out there, looking like he is actually on another level. Same with Swerve Strickland. But we've seen their team work come out to look really strong, but then at moments as well, we've seen it kind of crumble apart before they picked it up.
Yeah, all four of these guys, we all know, are some of the best wrestlers in the world, and they delivered an absolute banger of a match. I love the Young Bucks entrance being riding on like a boat through the crowd was really cool. But yeah, this match was insane. Swerve and Ospreay, like you mentioned, the storytelling between the two. Ospreay hitting Swerve with the hidden blade, and kind of thinking like, oh, this is kind of be like this is what's going to happen to them to lose. Swerve may get his revenge on Ospreay, but no, after Ospreay's down and getting super kicked, Swerve comes in and saves them, takes the super kicks for him, and yeah, it ended up being a teamwork thing where both of them had to come together, lock in, and then get the big win. So they will be able to fight for the AEW World Champion for the next year. Part of me wishes they did lose, just because it would have been really interesting to see what happens for them over the next year and a half, the development between those two. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. But now the Young Bucks seem to be changing gear and seemingly probably going to have some type of face change. Maybe they go back and they try to befriend Hangman again. But yeah, it should be interesting what the Young Bucks do, but overall, a fantastic match.
Yeah, this was one that I probably had the most fun with. I especially really loved the ending, because there was a moment where I forget which of the Jackson brothers were in the middle of the ring, but they were in the middle of the ring. Swerve's going for a stomp. Ospreay's going for his hidden blade, and you kind of get this feeling like, oh, is he gonna dodge it and they're gonna hit each other, and that's gonna be what leads them to lose? But that doesn't happen. They both hit their move, and that is the end of the match.
Yeah. But next up, we had the Women's Casino Gauntlet. So we'll continue with a lot of the big matches, and this one, the Fallen Goddess comes out on top. Athena, she wins the Casino Gauntlet, has a #1 contender shot at that World Champion, and yeah, this was another fantastic Casino Gauntlet, and I'd even say it's better than the men's.
Yeah, I think this year the women kind of got it, and they did a really good job of kind of splitting the women up, putting the big spots where they needed the big spots. And we've seen a lot of amazing women. We've seen the whole women's roster here tonight. Essentially, at least the people that you wanted to see, whether they were managers or they came in to help at some point. But we've seen pretty much everyone that you wanted to see, especially with the likes of Chris Statlander and Megan Bain starting it off.
Yeah, we've seen the likes of Suri make her debut into AEW. She will be on Ring of Honor over the next few weeks doing an excursion, I believe. We also seen the debut of Alex Windsor, which is really cool. And yeah, this match was overall really good. Athena winning is obviously something that's very hype because it's something that, whether it is Mercedes or Tony to walk out with the championship, it's something to look forward to because you get that rematch between Athena and Mercedes potentially, or a first-time match, I believe, in AEW, which is Athena and Toni Storm. So either way, you have something very cool to look forward to for Athena. And she did announce on the media scrum as well that she is kind of full-time now in AEW and she'll be there more frequently, so hopefully that is true. And yeah, she is somebody we see really frequently.
Yeah, this was a very fun match. Very excited to see how she cashes in, when she cashes it in. Obviously, that's a spoiler for the end because it doesn't happen there. But yeah, very interested to see what happens going forward with her.
And then next up, we had the three-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Champions, where the Hurt Syndicate come out on top and defeat both the Jet Speed and the Patriarchy. Now, I mentioned earlier that we've seen FTR during this match. They were on commentary, and they do play a part into the finish. But overall, how do you feel about this match?
Yeah, this match was another one where it's maybe a little bit lackluster. It was also probably a lot to do with this positioning on the card. There's a lot of exciting things before and to come after this, so maybe that played into a part of it. But it was still a pretty good match. We've seen the likes of Nick Wayne just looking pretty good out there. This is probably one of his better individual performances that I've personally seen. Looked really good. Christian Cage as well. We'll talk more about him in a little bit. But yeah, the Hurt Syndicate does come out on top. They sort of dominated in a way. They look very strong throughout the entire match, and this is kind of what I wanted from this because we see them retain their gold. Obviously, MJF won his contract, so it'd be really cool to see them with all the gold, and then maybe Bobby Lashley gets jealous of MJF. But there's a lot of storytelling you can do with this, and yeah, I'm a fan of the decision to let them retain.
Yeah. But after the match, we see Nick Wayne turn on Christian Cage and the rest of the Patriarchy. Kip Sabian, Nick Wayne, Mother Wayne, they all turn on him, but then also FTR join along as well, and they are all beating down on Christian, and they're about to hit a concerto until Adam Copeland comes back and makes his big return here at AEW All In. And yeah, it seems like we are getting the return of Edge and Christian, or I guess I should say the debut of Edge and Christian in AEW. So yeah, it kind of smells like FTR will probably get a match between now and All Out, which leads up to an FTR versus Edge and Christian, probably at All Out in Toronto. So yeah, definitely something pretty cool. Obviously, them being a tag team is something that's going to divide people, whether it's, oh, these two old guys who are past their time, or it's two guys who are legends and they're going to have a good run with the belt. So either way, I think it could be really fun as long as, things are booked correctly.
Yeah, I really like the Edge and Christian dynamic duo that they do have. They're always really fun and entertaining when they do get together. And I think, we didn't really like what Edge did as part of his singles career, at least the latter part of it. So it'd be really nice to see him in the tag division, kind of refreshing to see him right there with Christian. And whether they're heel or face, either way, I'd be fine with it. But yeah, that was a very fun way to do that.
Yeah, and then next up we had Timeless Toni Storm take on Mercedes Moné for the Women's World Champion, and Timeless Toni Storm comes out on top and defeats Mercedes Moné in an absolute banger of a match.
Yeah, this was just a really good match in general. Toni Storm looked stronger than ever, and Mercedes, she kind of looked like you were starting to see the cracks in her game. She was hitting Toni Storm with all of her biggest moves, all of her strongest moves, her finishers, everything you could think of, and nothing really was able to take Toni Storm down, and she does come out on top. She had a little bit of help of Luther at one point, where he kind of puts Mercedes up on her shoulder, and Timeless Toni Storm goes for the kind of like a doomsday device kind of with Luther in a way. But yeah, very fun match here.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. Toni Storm winning this match, it definitely surprised me. I kind of felt like Mercedes was going to win this. And yeah, Athena versus Toni Storm is also something to look forward to down the line now. So that should be really interesting. But yeah, this match was phenomenal. Also really loved Mercedes' gear and her entrance. She came out with all the names of people she's beaten so far since leaving WWE and joining AEW. And then also she had the Rangers cheer squad wearing each of her belts, which is also pretty cool. So cool little flex sucks for Mercedes. But yeah, this was a phenomenal match. I'm glad the women got the respective time and had an absolute banger of a match to solidify why they are two of the best women not only in the world but in AEW as well. But yeah, great match to kick off the triple main event as AEW called it tonight. But next up, we had Okada take on Kenny Omega for the new unified AEW championship, where Okada comes out on top and surprisingly defeats Kenny Omega.
Yeah, this is not the result that I wanted, and nor was it the result that I expected. I thought for sure it was a lock that Kenny was going to win. He's looked stronger than ever, kind of beating everyone. And yeah, I thought this was just going to be another opponent on that list of Kenny Omegas, but that's not the case. Okada comes out on top. There was a little bit of a help with Don Callis, and I believe someone else got involved too. I don't remember who it was.
Some of the Don Callis family members.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, they had a lot of involvement in this match, so it wasn't just Kenny losing necessarily. Not that it would really matter anyway, but yeah, this was a really good match. Went 30 minutes, and it felt every bit of it because they filled up that time perfectly. I feel like the first, maybe 10 minutes of the match maybe was a little bit slow, but then from there progressed all the way into the last about 8 minutes where it was just amazing, where every move felt like a finisher, every move felt like it was the end of the match. But yeah, Okada comes out on top here.
Yeah, this match was phenomenal. Even the crowd, when this bell rang, they were going absolutely insane. They had "This is awesome" chants before they even touched each other. So yeah, this was a phenomenal match. I love that they're kind of still playing to this Omega injury with a diverticulitis, and Okada kind of abusing that throughout the match, and I can't really speak, but yeah, he kind of just overall just dominates Kenny throughout the entire match. And yeah, kind of like that simple storytelling, but something that needs to be addressed, and it is a weak spot in Kenny over the past few months. So yeah, it's something that's obvious to target in like just simple, smart wrestling. So I really like that.
And also an amazing entrance from Kenny Omega. He had the big Omega symbol behind him as he's kind of walking through it with the live band performing his theme song as well. So yeah, really cool entrance from Kenny Omega here.
Yeah. And then next up in the main event, we had our Texas Death Match for the AEW World Champion, where Jon Moxley goes against Hangman Adam Page, and the Hangman comes out on top and is your new AEW World Champion.
Yeah, this match was just all over the place, just a brutal, just a mess of a match. I don't even know where to start. Actually, I do know where to start, because at the very start of the match, we see them they both end up with forks in their hand at some point, and they're just going at it, and one point Hangman gets the advantage and is just going absolutely nuts with the fork on Jon Moxley's head. Instantly blood all over the place. Me and you made a side bet of how long it would take, and it ended up being the under, and you won. And so yeah, just a crazy match. Just any spot you could think of as part of a hardcore match. We've seen it in here. We've seen steel chairs, we've seen tables, barbed wire tables, barbed wire steel chairs, just all over the place fighting. And yeah, this was a very fun and entertaining throughout the entire 35 minutes. Didn't feel like 35 minutes. It almost felt like they could have went longer. But yeah, this was a very, very fun match.
Yeah, this is exactly what you wanted from the main event of this match. It is something that you had Hangman just showing that he doesn't have really many friends there that really help him, and that the numbers were against him the entire time. We've seen Will Ospreay try to come out, but then odds were against him as well, and they took him out, who was also stretchered out. We also seen Swerve come out and try to help him, and that is the person who ultimately does help him and get the win. But we also see the big return of the one Darby Allin and Bryan Danielson as well, who was dressed up in a Blue Panther mask hitting the yes chants. So yeah, huge moment, huge surprises, and yeah, this match was insane. Also, really love the finish where Hangman has the chain that Swerve gives him and is choking out Moxley over the ropes, and Moxley sells it amazingly. You can see the panic in his face just jumping around while hanging. It's such a weird visual to see because it's so ugly yet so kind of cool in a way. And yeah, just honestly a fantastic match. I love the moment where Hangman finally opens the briefcase as well to open up the world champion. And yeah, this was honestly one of the best main events of a pro wrestling event in quite some time. And yeah, I don't know if this maybe tops the WrestleMania 39 match or the WrestleMania 40 match. I'm sure that'll have this discourse, but yeah, this is, no matter what, is a phenomenal pro wrestling match.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, we've seen from the start there, going off with the fork, just going at each other with it. We've seen a bed of nails get involved here. We've seen Moxley grab glass, put it in Hangman's mouth, and then boot him in the face. We seen the double chair spot where they put him back together, slam your spine on it. I mean, like I said, anything you could think of was in this match. So many glass spots. There was glass all over their backs. There's a huge gash on the back of Adam Page, sorry. But yeah, this was just, like you mentioned, just almost a bloodbath of a match, but at the same time, it wasn't too, like, gory. They had blood, but it wasn't, like, too much of it, if that makes sense. But yeah, just an amazing match. Went 35 minutes. Didn't feel like it. Hangman is your new AEW World Champion, and I don't think the crowd could have been happier because they were erupting for this match at multiple points. When they announced when they brought out the bed of nails, the crowd was like, "Oh my God, what are we about to see?" Me and you, kind of obviously watching it from home, were able to see the bed of nails a little bit before the match, and that put the fear of God in us for a little bit. Like, oh my God, what the hell is Moxley gonna do? And little did we know that would be almost the finish after a buckshot lariat and him landing on that bed of nails.
Yeah. But that is all of our matches. So what was your favorite match of the night?
Yeah, I mean, this is very hard to pick. I really, really enjoyed the tag team match with Swerve and Will Ospreay, as well as Okada and Kenny Omega, but I will give it to Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley.
Yeah, definitely is one to pass up, not to pass up on. Yeah, just the moment, like I said, of Hangman getting that big one, the crowd erupting with them, the "You Deserve It" chants. You can see how really emotional he truly was. And yeah, he talks about in the promos that the past few years haven't been great for him. He's been in a bad state of mind, and having to regroup and try to go back to that world champion. The story he's been telling over the past few years has been phenomenal, and kind of just is kind of showing off how truly great he is at professional wrestling. He's able to tell you a story through all of his matches, and yeah, just phenomenal performance from both men involved. And yeah, the Jon Moxley era is officially behind us, and the new Hangman era is ahead of us. So yeah, Dynamite and all the future pay-per-views should be very interesting. Looking forward to a lot of stuff. Walking out of this, it should be really interesting with Athena going after Tony Storm eventually, MJF in the title picture now, Hangman as the new champion, and yeah, interesting what happens next.
Yeah, for sure. But we appreciate you guys for watching. There's a lot of content coming up for you guys ahead with these predictions and results and all that. Yeah, we appreciate you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.